Every great achievement begins not with luck, not with talent, but with a clear decision. A decision that says, no matter what happens, I will not stop until I reach my goal. Most people never achieve what they truly desire, because they wait for the right moment, the right mood, or the right motivation. Yet success never waits. It is born in the silence of determination, in the daily discipline to move forward, even when you feel no progress. As Brian Tracy teaches, success is not an accident, it is a science, a formula that anyone can follow. The moment you decide with absolute clarity what you want, why you want it, and how far you're willing to go, the universe begins to align itself in your favor. Remember, your goals are not outside of you, they are the reflections of your deepest potential waiting to be awakened. Number 1. Define your goal with absolute clarity. Clarity is the beginning of mastery. When your mind knows exactly what it wants, life begins to respond in mysterious ways. But when your mind is divided, when you walk in two directions at once, you go nowhere. Most people spend their lives wandering, not because they lack strength or talent, but because they never stop to ask themselves a simple question: what do I truly want? They chase what others chase, dream what others dream, and end up wondering why fulfillment always feels one step away. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine standing in a thick fog. You can sense movement around you. You can hear the sounds of life, but everything is blurred. That is what living without clarity feels like. Every day you take steps, yet you never know where those steps lead. Now imagine that the fog begins to lift, slowly, gently, until you can finally see the mountain in the distance. The moment you see that mountain, everything changes. Your steps gain purpose. Your energy, your discipline, your choices begin to align. That is what happens when you define your goal with absolute clarity. A clear goal is not just a line written on paper, it is a declaration to yourself and to the universe. It is the moment you say, this is what I choose, this is the path I walk. When your mind holds one image with unwavering focus, that image begins to shape your behavior, your words, and your energy. You stop drifting and you start directing. You stop reacting and you begin creating. But clarity does not come by accident. It is born from silence, reflection, and honesty. You must sit with yourself and strip away everything that is not truly yours, the expectations of society, the desires borrowed from others, the noise of comparison. Ask yourself, what truly matters to me? What would make my soul come alive? The answer might not come in an instant, but if you keep asking with sincerity, it will appear. And when it does, it will feel like truth. Calm, simple, and powerful. Once you know your goal, write it down as if it already exists. I am healthy, strong, and full of energy. I am financially free and living with purpose. I am calm, centered, and in harmony with life. The words you repeat shape the world you experience. Writing your goal transforms it from a wish into a command for your subconscious mind. It tells your entire being, this is where we are going. Clarity sharpens your vision. It makes you notice opportunities that were always there but hidden in the blur of uncertainty. It gives you direction when you wake up in the morning and strength when challenges arise. When you know what you are working toward, even struggle becomes meaningful. You no longer ask, why is this happening to me? You understand this is part of the process that will take me there. Remember, your goal must be so clear that you can see it when you close your eyes, feel it in your heart, and describe it in one simple sentence. If your goal feels vague, your mind will hesitate. But if it feels precise, your body and spirit will begin to move naturally toward it. Just as an archer must first fix his eyes on the target before releasing the arrow, you too must fix your mind on what you truly desire before taking action. Every great transformation begins with that single act of definition. The day you decide exactly what you want is the day your destiny begins to take form. So stand still, breathe deeply, and declare your direction with conviction. Because once your goal becomes clear, every step you take becomes sacred, and life itself begins to move with you, not against you. Remember this: the power to achieve any dream does not lie in wishing, but in knowing, clearly, deeply, completely, what that dream is. Clarity is not just the first step, it is the foundation of everything you will ever build. Number 2. Know exactly why you want it. Your why is the fire that keeps your journey alive when the path turns dark. Without it, every goal fades at the first sign of difficulty. With it, even the heaviest burden becomes light. You can always tell who will reach their destination, not by their talent, not by their luck, but by the strength of their reason. When you know exactly why you want something, nothing can stop you. Think of a tree in the middle of a storm. The wind howls, the rain strikes, the branches bend until they almost break. Yet the tree stands because its roots run deep. Your why is those roots. Goals built on weak reasons, on comparison, on ego, on pressure will always fall when life tests them. But a goal nourished by purpose grows stronger with every challenge. Ask yourself, why do I truly want this goal? Not the answer you would give to impress others, but the answer that comes from the quiet voice inside you. Maybe you want to become financially free, not for luxury but for peace. Maybe you want success not to prove others wrong, but to honor what you know you're capable of. Maybe you want strength not to dominate, but to serve. When your goal is connected to a higher purpose, it gains meaning beyond the reward. If your why is shallow, your motivation will disappear as quickly as it comes. You might begin with energy, but when the days grow long and results don't appear, you'll start to question if it's worth it. Yet when your reason runs deep, you keep going, because you're no longer chasing pleasure, you're pursuing truth. You are not merely trying to achieve, you are trying to become. The most powerful people in the world are not driven by fame or comfort. They are driven by a burning sense of why. It's what wakes them before the sun, what steadies them when they fall, what makes them rise again when others quit. Their why is their compass, guiding them when the road disappears. And that same fire lives in you. It only needs to be uncovered. To find it, look beyond the surface. Ask yourself again and again, why do I want this? Each time you answer, go deeper. Peel away the layers until you reach something that touches your heart. You will know you found it when your reason makes you feel both calm and strong, when it moves you to tears or fills you with silence. That is the moment you no longer need external motivation, because the energy begins to flow from within. When your why becomes clear, fear loses its power, obstacles shrink and discipline becomes natural. You no longer argue with yourself about whether to continue, you simply do, because your reason has become bigger than your excuses. The mountain in front of you no longer intimidates you, because you now understand why you're climbing it. Every time you feel tired, return to your why. Every time you feel lost, repeat it to yourself, until you remember. It is not the path that gives you strength, it is the purpose behind it. When you walk for a reason greater than comfort, life itself begins to assist you. The right people appear, the right moments unfold, and your journey transforms into something sacred. So do not just ask what you want. Ask why you want it, because when your reason is pure, your focus becomes unshakable. You no longer chase, you attract. You no longer struggle, you evolve. And in the quiet realization of your purpose, you discover the greatest secret of achievement, that the destination is only the reflection of the strength of your why. Remember this always. The person who knows why will always outlast the person who only knows how. Number 3. Set a deadline and sub-deadlines. A dream without a deadline is like a cloud without rain. It drifts endlessly, full of potential but never nourishing the ground beneath it. You can dream for years, plan for decades, and still remain in the same place if you never give your dream a time to be born. A deadline is not pressure, it is permission. It gives your vision a body, your intention a direction, and your effort a rhythm. It is the silent contract you sign with yourself that says, I will not wait for life to give me the right moment. I will create it. Time is one of the most sacred forces in the universe. It flows whether you act or not, whether you hesitate or move. When you attach a deadline to your goal, you begin to flow with time instead of against it. The deadline becomes a current that carries you forward, a reminder that every day is a step closer or a step further away. Without this awareness, you drift. but with it you awaken. Imagine a painter standing before a blank canvas. If there is no exhibition date, no sense of completion, he may paint endlessly, adding and erasing until the masterpiece fades into confusion. But when he knows the exact day his work must be seen, every brushstroke carries weight. Each decision becomes intentional. The same truth applies to your life. When you know your deadline, your actions gain power. You no longer waste time on what doesn't matter, because you have something sacred to honor, your own promise. Setting sub-deadlines is how you turn an impossible mountain into a series of small reachable peaks. Every major goal feels overwhelming when viewed as one vast challenge. But when you divide it into clear milestones, this week, this month, this quarter, it becomes manageable. Each completed stage renews your confidence. Each small victory whispers to your mind, yes, I am moving forward. Progress, even in inches, fuels perseverance far more than perfection ever could. A deadline also invites discipline. It teaches you to respect time and your own word. When you commit to finishing something by a certain date, you begin to see procrastination for what it is. Not a harmless delay, but a quiet betrayal of your potential. Deadlines remind you that your days are limited, that your energy is precious, and that every moment wasted can never return. They help you transform intention into motion and motion into momentum. But understand this, a deadline should not be a chain that suffocates your creativity. It should be a guide that keeps you awake, focused, and alive. You are not racing against time, you are learning to dance with it. Sometimes the path may take longer than expected, and that's fine. The purpose of a deadline is not perfection, it's direction. It is to help you move from wishing to doing, from hoping to achieving. So set your deadline with both courage and compassion. Write it down. Say it aloud. Feel the weight of the commitment settle into your spirit. Then break it down into smaller measurable moments, each one a promise you can keep. When you reach each sub-deadline, pause, breathe, and acknowledge the progress you've made. Let gratitude become your fuel and discipline your companion. Because the truth is this, without a deadline your dream has no heartbeat. It remains asleep in the realm of possibility. But the moment you decide when, you awaken it. The moment you set your time, the universe begins to organize itself around your decision. So stop waiting for the perfect day, the perfect mood, or the perfect sign. Set your date, commit to your path, and remind yourself that every tick of the clock is not your enemy, it is your teacher. For those who respect time, time reveals its magic, and those who set their deadlines with purpose eventually meet their destiny with pride. Number 4. Make a list of everything you must do. Every great journey begins with one clear map. Without it, even the strongest traveler will wander in circles. The same is true for your goals. You may know what you want, you may even know why you want it. But unless you know what must be done, your vision will remain trapped in the clouds of imagination. Making a list of everything you must do is how you bring the invisible into form. It is how you translate dreams into steps and steps into progress. Think of a mountain climber standing at the base of a towering peak. He looks up and feels both awe and fear. If he stares only at the summit, he feels overwhelmed. But then he kneels down and studies his path, the tools he needs, the distances he must cross, the camps he will build along the way. With each detail written and prepared, the impossible becomes achievable. The climb has not yet begun, but victory already has a plan. Your list is that plan. It is your map through uncertainty. Most people avoid this step because it forces honesty. Writing down what must be done strips away illusion. You can no longer pretend that success will come easily or that time will somehow make it happen for you. The list reveals what effort, consistency, and sacrifice truly look like. It shows you the real price of your goal, and this clarity is not meant to discourage you, but to empower you. Because once you see the path clearly, you stop fearing it. You stop standing still. You begin. As you write, let your thoughts flow freely. Don't judge or edit. Capture every action that might move you closer to your vision. Some steps will be big and bold. Others will seem small, almost insignificant. But remember, no great structure stands without the smaller stones that hold its foundation. The smallest task completed today may be the very one that prevents your dream from collapsing tomorrow. Each item on your list is a seed of transformation. When you put it on paper, you give it life. When you act upon it, you water it. Day by day, these small acts grow into forests of accomplishment. Do not underestimate the quiet power of organization. What you write, you remember. What you remember, you act upon. And what you act upon, you become. There is also something deeply spiritual about this process. Writing focuses the mind, disciplines the heart, and calms the storm of distraction. It is like gathering scattered thoughts and aligning them under one clear purpose. Every word you write declares to yourself, I am serious about my path, and the universe listens to that seriousness. You begin to notice new ideas, new people, and new opportunities appearing, because your focus has become a magnet. When your list is complete, look at it not with fear but with gratitude. These are not burdens. They are steps that will carry you to your destiny. Arrange them in order, choose what can be done first, and begin with that one action. Completion builds momentum. Each time you cross something off, you feel lighter, stronger, more confident. You start to realize that success is not a single grand moment. It is a series of small victories earned with discipline. Every great creator, every successful mind, every master of their craft began with a simple list. It may have been scribbled on paper, spoken aloud, or held quietly in thought, but it existed. The difference between a wish and a goal is written structure. The list is the bridge between the mind that imagines and the person who achieves. So, before you take another step, stop and write. Write until your dream becomes a plan, and your plan becomes clear enough to act upon. Because clarity without structure leads to confusion, and passion without order burns out before it creates. Your list is not a piece of paper, it is a promise. A sacred reminder that you have chosen not to drift, but to direct your life with purpose. And when the days get heavy and the road feels endless, look back at that list. Every mark you've made, every task you've completed, will remind you that you are not who you were yesterday. You are someone moving closer to who you were always meant to be. For every great dream begins in the mind, but it is achieved one written step at a time. Number 5. Organize your list by priority. Not everything that demands your attention deserves your energy. This is one of life's most powerful truths, yet few ever learn to live by it. You may have a long list of things to do, 1,000 directions pulling you at once, but until you decide what truly matters, you will always feel busy, yet never fulfilled. Success does not come to those who do everything, it comes to those who do the right things first. Imagine holding a handful of seeds. You cannot plant them all at once. If you scatter them carelessly, most will never grow. But if you choose carefully where to place each one, if you give your best soil and sunlight to the few that matter most, you create a garden that thrives. Your time, your focus, and your energy are that soil. How you invest them determines what kind of life you grow. When you organize your list by priority, you begin to master the art of selective effort. You no longer confuse movement with progress. You stop running in every direction and instead walk steadily in one. This discipline may look simple, but it requires deep awareness. It asks you to look at every task and ask, will this truly move me closer to my goal? If the answer is no, you learn to let it go, no matter how tempting or urgent it seems. You see, urgency is a trap. The world will always whisper that everything is important, that every message needs your reply, that every problem must be solved immediately. But if you spend your days reacting to noise, you will never create harmony. You must learn to separate what is essential from what is merely loud. The essential builds your future, the loud distracts you from it. Start by identifying the few actions that create the biggest results. Often, only 20% of what you do produces 80% of your progress. Focus your mornings, your freshest hours on these high-impact tasks. Treat them as sacred rituals, not optional chores. When your energy is aligned with your priorities, your efficiency multiplies. 1 hour of focused effort can do what 10 hours of scattered action cannot. This is not about doing less, it's about doing what matters most. When you prioritize, you learn to honor your time, your purpose, and your own word. You no longer live in chaos, constantly overwhelmed by the weight of unfinished work. Instead, you live with intention, guided by clarity. Your list becomes not a burden, but a compass. Every check mark becomes a victory of direction over distraction, and something remarkable